In the heart of Victoria's cropping country lies a bold plan for a sunrise industry, bringing new life to some old crops. The Wimmera region in the state's northwest has a hot, dry climate, ideal for pulses such as lentils and faba beans.
Oh, look, I'm absolutely passionate about the Wimmera. I love the place, and like all farmers, we always think our area is the best, but with the alkaline soils and the climate, it does suit itself really well to pulse growing. We're really number one for the area for growing a lot of the different varieties, lentils and beans especially.
Part of the legume family, lentils and faba beans have been grown here for decades, as much for what they put back into the soil as the grains they yield. These are young faba beans that will be ready to harvest by year's end.
Faba beans have got a reputation of being a little bit difficult to grow. They've been called many things: failure beans, coulda beans, has beens, but when you do get a crop home, it's quite rewarding and they can yield quite well. The issue's always been placing them in markets.
Grain growers grow them as rotational crops, so that enables them to rest paddocks, and in doing so, pulses inject nitrogen back into the soil, so they take it out of the atmosphere, put it into the soil, and that reduces the reliance on fertiliser. So from a sustainability perspective, it's a wonderful crop.
It's even more wonderful for what they contain. One of the hottest tickets in global food, plant proteins.
This really is a moment in time, so we are seeing a significant consumer demand globally.
10 years ago, or if even 5 years ago, when you thought of protein powder, you'd kind of think, someone really muscly, leaving the gym with a protein shaker with some water and kind of shaking it and having it only after a workout. But what we've found is, and where we play in this space, is in the wellness space. So protein is a lifestyle product.
In the middle of the grains belt, Horsham was the logical place to build the protein extraction plant that opened late last year.
An opportunity that gives us a huge base of raw material, and we've got a proprietary extraction process that we've developed that gives us a really clean, great tasting, very neutral smelling product with an excellent mouthfeel. So it enables us to sell into manufacturers of food and beverage products and provide them with a really clean, quality protein.
The plant operates around the clock, extracting more than 80% of the protein from the grains and turning it into high-grade powder as fine as flour.
So we focus on three main categories, which is sports nutrition, alternative dairy, so yogurts and etc. And then you have the alternative meat, which is probably the most known to consumers or in the media as such.
It may be for veggie burgers, protein bars and shakes, snack foods, or as an alternative to egg whites used in a range of baking products.
So we're kind of seeing a really big switch from the traditional use of protein powder to a lifestyle and wellness product.
Some consumers opt for plant-based protein out of choice. They see it as more environmentally sustainable. Some choose it out of necessity. Either way, it's all part of an ever-expanding market.
When we started this business back in 2016, a lot of our focus was around gut health and issues with children not consuming some foods. And we thought that was a strong enough fields to play in. Now we're just staggered how wide the field is now in the applications. Mainstream food applying right through to pet care.
Getting to this stage has so far cost around $25 million, achieved with the help of several key investors. Now, with the success of this pilot plant running at full capacity, much bigger plans are afoot. The company recently signed a deal with global food giant Bunge. It'll mean the plant will expand by 60% and give it market access into a wide range of countries.
And that's a circa $40 to $50 million investment on top of the existing investment. So it's a significant investment, but it's on the basis that the demand both locally and globally is there.
At present, the greatest demand is coming from Europe and North America, but consumption is rapidly rising in Australia and Asia.
And plant-based products at the moment. There's a huge surge in it, a huge want for it in the market. That's for so many different reasons, whether it's sustainable reasons, environmental reasons, animal welfare reasons, or just health in general. So we just really wanted to have an option that was just as good as the non-plant protein.
One emerging business that uses plant protein powder is Melbourne-based Keep It Cleaner, an online health and fitness provider.
Through movement, nutrition, mindfulness and community, we help people find their personal recipe to live a healthier and happier life.
We created Keep It Cleaner because we're passionate about helping young women be their happiest and healthiest selves.
We've got 80 products across major supermarkets in Australia, and then we've also got the tech side of the business, which is an app. It is a health and wellness program that our users have in their pockets. They can access it 24/7.
Plant-based protein powder may have taken off sooner, if not for some impediments. For example, it could be sometimes bitter or gritty. Australian Plant Proteins undertook its own research to tackle and overcome those issues.
We've managed to solve those problems, which means that we can now sort of launch into those broad applications in a whole range of products.
So being able to have faba bean protein and incorporate that into our range has been so exciting for our community and our audience who purchase the protein. It's an amazing product. It's creamy. It's really different to traditional plant-based proteins. They're often a little bit grainy and they don't blend very well, but the faba bean protein is a fantastic product. It's Australian, locally sourced, which is amazing.
The fact that it also supported Australian farmers was just a huge tick for us.
The process begins with split beans or lentils that are unloaded and fed into a hopper. Then they're softened with water and sent through a maze of stainless steel piping that extracts the valuable proteins. It's then dried, and at the end of the process, the powder, as fine as flour, is sealed into bulk bags. Any residues go into high protein stock feed. For grain growers, the protein plant is a welcome development. It provides them with another market for their pulse crops, but brings bigger benefits as well.
This area doesn't have a lot of value adding for its produce, and we barely do 1% as it is. So having a plant like this in our backyard is not only gives us employment opportunities, but also gives us something that we can build on and hopefully become world leaders at.
At present, most of Australia's pulse crops are sent for export. Nearby, at Horsham's major grains miller, they're graded and hulled, then loaded into containers, ready for export. And recently, that's been tricky.
We've got trouble at the moment with availability of shipping containers and also the rate. So it's very risky at the moment exporting in containers, whereas if we can add more value to the product locally here, it's taking the risk away from the export side of it. So we're diversifying. Manufacturing locally, we don't have the foreign exchange risk and we don't have the shipping freight risk, I guess.
The beans and lentils destined for the protein plant are graded, milled and split, put into special rodent-proof containers and sent off to the plant. Mill manager Andrew Saunders sees it as a giant leap forward.
This has upped the value adding significantly. This is a Rolls-Royce product moving into a very exciting market.
This project will have benefits that will go way beyond the Wimmera region. The company has plans to build similar plants across the Australian grains belt. Starting with the mega plant, the location yet to be decided, but it'll be somewhere in the heart of pulse-growing country, most likely a dry land cropping region of South Australia or Victoria.
But pulse growing stretches into New South Wales and Queensland as well. And it's access to different varieties in terms of faba beans, lentils, chickpeas, mung beans.
Of course, global demand means global competition.
We're competing with Canadians, we're competing with the South Americans, the Europeans. We've got an opportunity here and our view is commercially we're going to chase it.
The company's co-founders and directors, Phil McFarlane, Brendan McKeegan and Gavin Evans, are old school friends, all with a country background. They've all worked around the globe, but have never lost their love of agriculture.
always wanting to come back into the ag industry, knowing that I need to be beyond the farm gate because I think that's well matured.
The potential rate of growth is astonishing.
This could be in excess of $500 million investment over the next 4 years, and that's just with our business alone.
In the short term, the next stage of expansion will strive for greater sustainability by using renewable power and recycled water. It will also create more jobs.
We've employed 28 people now. We'll move in the next phase to over 50 people that we'll employ from this region, and we think that's a great thing. We think it's a great opportunity for people to get access to this modern manufacturing, to learn new skills.
It's a fantastic investment in a regional economy to have that, people showing that amount of confidence in our region. And you know, we've got excellent agricultural products, but to have some manufacturers move in like this and spend this amount of money it's huge. It's a game changer for our region.
Back in the paddock, David Joe Hinkey foresees a future where there'll be a lot more hectares planted with pulses.
Generally, it drops out when the prices fluctuate or are quite volatile, but having something that's permanent, a bit of a baseline in the region, will probably shore it up in the rotation a lot more than it currently is.
It's a new avenue channel that they can consider to sell their pulses into us, and we'll fully develop that model in the next couple of years.
In the meantime, the company has a formidable, though very welcome goal.
Keeping up the demand is going to be a challenge, which is a great thing for us.